crowd chose him, and then he walked down the road and died on the cross, and that was the end of the beginning.
G'day everybody, Patrol Gaming, and welcome back to another reaction video. Well, for our weekly dose of David, I've got something a little bit different. So we're going to do stories and songs. So this is where David's going to tell us a little bit about the writing process of a particular song. And today we're going to do End of the Beginning. So we've reacted to this song before, but we haven't heard about the writing process. So I'm very interested in that. So let's jump in and we'll do the song afterwards. So let's do David Phelps with End of the Beginning. So stories and songs. Let's see what the process was when he wrote this. So let's go.
Welcome to our video series where we talk about the songs we've recorded over the years and the stories behind them. This is Stories and Songs.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. Oh, there ain't no mountain high enough. All the angels singing praises to the great I am. It's the ties that bind and leave behind a legacy of love.
Hey, if you want to keep up to date with the videos that we're putting out and other things we're doing, subscribe to our YouTube channel here. You can also go to davidphelps.com and find out all of our social media tags and also about the YouTube channel as well there. So today we thought we'd talk about End of the Beginning. We've had requests to talk about that. And that's a really special song for me. We recorded it on what we always refer to as the Blue Record. It was my self-titled project. Very early on, and also on that project was My Child Is Coming Home, Let the Glory Come Down, No More Night, and just songs that have meant a lot to me for a lot of years. So I wrote End of the Beginning after I had been on the road and I was flying back home. I was exhausted, as you know we often are. Had an early flight home. My rule is I always try to leave as late as I can and get back as quickly as I can, you know. So early flight home, and I was sitting there on the plane. I was watching people get on the plane, and I remember thinking that morning, what has brought those people into my life at this moment? Where have they come from? And how do they view the world? And I was kind of in that moment of just kind of thinking about what was inside their mind and their lives. Going back a little bit, I often get up in the mornings and I come up with melodies and chord progressions for songs that I think might have some life to them, and I'll record those. And at the same time, I have a hook book that I will write down hooks that I think are very interesting, that I think I could
Okay, that's interesting.
wrap a message around. And so I had this End of the Beginning hook in my book for about 4 years. And
Wow,
I had
okay.
tried to write a song, and every time I tried to write it, it turned out to be negative. And I just was bound and determined it was not going to be a negative song. And you know, you can see how the title could lend itself, The End of the Beginning, you know. And so I just kept you know, scrapping it and starting over. And then I got home that morning after flying on the plane, and things just kind of gelled for me. And I sat down at the piano. Lori, we were homeschooling at the time. We were homeschooling the kids at the time, and Lori was doing that. And before I even walked into the rest of the house, I sat down at the piano, and in half an hour, I had the song written.
Wow.
And
Okay.
what I've always loved about this song, there's a couple of things. One is that the chorus is basically the message of salvation, you know. And I get to say that over and over again in the song. And the other thing is that is kind of the answer to a question that a lot of people have asked me over the years, because it's a story song about me about this guy sitting next to another guy on the plane, and one guy has his Bible and he says, you know, what are you reading? And it opens up this big conversation and allows him to tell him about his Savior, Jesus. And so a lot of people have asked me over the years, so what did that guy decide? What was the answer there? Because at the end, it kind of leaves it open in the song. I said, well, that's the whole point, is that our Great Commission is to go and tell. And sometimes we don't get to see the answer. Sometimes we don't get to hear about it, but we just have to be obedient and go and live out Jesus in front of people and talk about him when we get a chance to. And then the Holy Spirit draws people to him and to himself. So that is, that's always been kind of a question that people have asked. I have got so many great songs around this song, so many great stories around this song. Two of which were at Carnegie Hall. My very first time to record this was on a video at Carnegie Hall, and it was on April Fool's Day. I have always pulled April Fool's pranks on my mom. And so the night before I was going to record, I called my mom, and she was at a restaurant with her friends. And I said, Mom, are you sitting down? And she was like, what is it? What is it? She kind of got panicked. And I said, I'm up here in New York, and I'm recording Into the Beginning tomorrow. It's a song that I wrote here in Carnegie Hall. I'm so thrilled about it. But I'm on the third floor here, and they have these crazy windows, and I went to open it, and I slipped, and I fell out, and I broke both of my legs on the concrete.
You can't do that to your mother. That is terrible. If I did that, my mum I wouldn't be able to sit down for a month.
Sidewalk below.
Wow.
And I'm in casts from the waist down, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And Mom was just like, you could hear her get up and exit the restaurant. She said, it's okay. You can sit on a stool and you can sing. It's going to be wonderful. And I said,
little blanket.
I said, well, I've really got to go. I've got to take some more medicine. And don't forget that it's April Fool's Day, So, and then the last thing I heard was, David, which I've heard a lot over the years. But, so there's that, and then later on I sang
That's terrible.
Into the Beginning in Carnegie Hall, and I completely forgot the words to one of my songs, And people that travel with me know that happens every once in a while. You get those moments where you're like, I wrote this, and I can't remember the words to it. So, but it's been one of those songs that has been so special. And I have gotten to sing night after night, and it's meant so much to people that it's been such a blessing to me. I hope you enjoy this at the Alabama Theater in Birmingham.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You see, he was with God in the beginning, but then the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. I was taking a trip on a plane the other day, just wishing that I could get out, when the man next to me saw the book in my hand and asked me what it was about. So I settled back in my seat, a bestseller, I said, a history and mystery in one. Then I opened up the book and began to read from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah, he was born of a virgin one holy night in the little town of Bethlehem. Angels gathered round him underneath the stars, singing praises to the great I am. He walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learned that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, the angry crowd chose him. And then he walked on the road and died on the cross. And that was the end of the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, I just got goosebumps with that. Oh, that's so good.
The lame and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learned that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, the angry crowd chose him. And then he walked on the road and died on the cross. And that was the end of the beginning. Yeah. That's not a new book, that's a Bible, he said, and I've heard it all before. I've tried religion, it's shame and guilt, and I don't need it anymore. It's superstition, made up tales, just to help the weak to survive. Oh, let me read it again, I said, but listen closely, this is gonna change your life. He was born of a virgin one holy night in the little town of Bethlehem. Angels gather round him underneath the stars, singing praises to the great I am. He walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see again. And for the first time here on earth, we learn that God could be a friend. And though he never ever did a single thing wrong, the angry crowd chose him. And then he walked on the road and died on the cross, and that was the end of the beginning. The beginning, he said with a smile. What more could there be? He's dead. You said they hung him and put nails in his hands and a crown of thorns on his head. I said I'll read it again. Oh, but this time there's more, and I believe that this is true. His death wasn't the end, but the beginning of a life that's completed in you. Don't you see? He did all this for you. Of Bethlehem, all the angels singing praises to the great I am. Who walked on the water, healed the lame, and made the blind to see. Did you know that God could be a friend? And no, he never did a single thing wrong. He was the one the crowd chose, and then he walked and he died. But 3 days later, oh, 3 days later, he you see, he came and he lived and he died. Oh, but that was the end of the beginning.
So good. That was very interesting. Very interesting. I love hearing about people who do singing or anything creative, their process for doing it, how they go about it, how, like he said, he had that in his book for 4 years, it doesn't come, and then something sparks that inspiration. And, like he said, he came home and wrote it in half an hour. It's just like, it wasn't ready to come out. It wasn't ready at that time to come out. And when it's ready, it just, you cannot stop it. That was very interesting. Very interesting. Great song. Great song. Yeah, I love that song. Love that song. Um, Very interesting. Very interesting. Hopefully you liked it. I know he's got a few more stories and songs. We'll definitely get into those ones as well too. So see what kind of further processes he goes through for the writing as well too. So let me know what you thought of this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know by the thumbs up. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, big red one. You cannot miss it. And that way you can come back and watch plenty more. We've got plenty more David on the channel already. We will continue having a weekly dose of David, that is for sure. Easter's coming up very soon. I cannot believe Easter is already coming up already next month. That is crazy. That I have no idea what's going on. Time just seems to be going so fast, it's ridiculous. But of course, we're going to have a special for David on Easter too. So make sure you definitely stick around for that one. That is, I've done it for the last 2 years. This year will definitely be no different as well too. So looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. Kind of getting some kind of plan together. But we'll definitely have plenty of David. We'll have plenty of Easter songs as well too. So make sure you stick out for that too. So, but guys, in the meantime, make sure you stay safe wherever you are in this crazy world. It's getting crazy every time you turn on the news. That's why I don't watch the news. It's just, it's death and destruction, and he did this and they did that. Oh, I just can't handle it. I don't watch the news at all. So stay safe wherever you are, and I'll definitely see you in the next reaction video.